What's good? It's Woog. Gervonta Davis versus Leo Santa Cruz. I had released a video and I was analyzing this fight, and I was thinking under the premise that the fight was held at 135 lightweight, which is a weight class that Davis has fought at once against Yorikis Gamboa in his last fight. He won that by, I believe, 12th round TKO. And Leo Santa Cruz has never competed in. He has never fought at 135. He spent his early career at 122 and then 126, where he had the most commercial success in the fights versus Carl Frampton and Abner Mares. And then he went up in his very last fight to 130 for the first time, and he fought Miguel Flores. He won that fight by decision, but nothing about his punches looked scary. His punches weren't exactly scary punch for punch in the weight class below that, at 126. Santa Cruz is a volume guy. He's an energy guy, but it's this consistent marathon-like pace in terms of the pressure that he's putting on his opponents, kind of forcing them to let their hands go, because if they don't, they're going to be losing these rounds, because he's willing to throw 80 to 100 punches around if need be. And he's won all but one of his fights doing that. And the fight that he did lose, the first fight versus Frampton, and Santa Cruz won the second, it was a super close decision. So I'm thinking, how is Santa Cruz going to then go up 2 weight classes to fight one of the most devastating one-punch fighters in the lower weight classes? Pick a division. You're not going to get too much more power per punch than a Gervonta Davis straight right hand, left hook, you name it. Like at 135. Well, they're not going to be fighting at 135. They're fighting at 130. And shout out to those on YouTube for pointing that out. Hey, what up? Peace to Reese, Threads Clothing, and Black Belt Ben. Reese Threads Clothing, R-I-C-H-E, and Black Belt Ben for pointing out that the fight between Gervonta Tank Davis and Leo Santa Cruz is taking place at 130, not 135, as I had assumed in the first video. Good looking out, guys. So the way that this changes the conversation is 130 is a weight class that Gervonta Davis has had a lot of trouble making weight at, which is why he then went up to 135 in his last fight. Now he's supposed to go back down to 130 and make weight. So I put whether he makes weight at a damn near 50-50. Maybe 60% he makes weight, 40% he doesn't. But I have question marks in terms of his operability, unless he's just taking training camp and his boxing lifestyle way more seriously than he was, say, 2 years ago, 1.5 years ago. But if he can comfortably make 130 and still operate at peak level, then my opinion on the fight and its likely outcome doesn't change. Not only Davis, but Davis by stoppage. And that's because, again, both the size and then the style. Santa Cruz isn't difficult to find in the ring. He's not one of these guys who's going to make you chase him and then bounce and move this way, then throw a couple punches, then hold and then break and then buy another 3 to 5 seconds. And he's not that guy. He is ready, flicking his wrist, fight by fight. It turns out that that's just a habit that he's had since he was young. Just flicks the wrist, throws his punches. High volume, doesn't move his head too much. And this is all a problem if you're fighting Gervonta Davis. The hope is that you can tire him out by the middle rounds to where he's then trying to conserve energy, although he's kind of pressured into having to throw something, because if he doesn't throw something, he's losing rounds. So you want to put maybe that stress on his mind. But I'm just not seeing how Santa Cruz is supposed to survive the first 4 to 6 rounds. And this is a Hall of Fame fighter we're talking about. Santa Cruz is no joke. But I think that having fought only once at 130, you don't want to go up in weight and then just go straight for the most dangerous person in the weight class. Alexander Usyk is about to move, or has moved, from cruiserweight to heavyweight. He's had one fight against Chaz Witherspoon, and his next fight is going to be against Derek Chisora, because you want to take incremental steps into the weight class. I mean, this is ambitious, especially in this twilight of Santa Cruz's career. And I'm just saying that because people tend to age out earlier in the smaller weight classes. So Santa Cruz being in his early 30s, I would get why he wants a big, lucrative fight at this point of his career. He's probably going to make more in this fight than in any fight in the past. This is, I believe, his first pay-per-view headline. So I get the career incentive in wanting this fight right now. I just don't think that it's nearly the most winnable fight for Santa Cruz. But yeah, let me know what you think about the fight. Again, I just have my doubts on whether Davis is going to make weight. I really hope he makes weight because Adrian Broner started to develop a reputation as somebody who just missed weight in multiple key fights, and I would hate to see that be one of the major tags on Davis's boxing legacy. So I hope he knows what he's doing in taking this fight at 130, because I really don't think Team Santa Cruz knows what they're doing in placing him in this fight. And hey, if Santa Cruz over-delivers and shows us once again why he's a Hall of Famer, but this time doing it against probably the best opponent in any weight class that he's fought. Frampton would be on the short list. But yeah, this is definitely one of those dare to be great scenarios. But 130 and not 135 is a little more of a middle ground. This is kind of where we both belong type of scenario. Me thinking that the fight was at 135 kind of spoiled it a little bit, because I'm like, oh man, this is almost like unfair to Santa Cruz. He's never even fought in this weight class. So yeah, 130 makes that difference. So you would have to look at it a little more like you will see peak Santa Cruz in there. So I am, but I arrive at the same outcome. But yeah, this is going to be interesting. And once again, it's at the Alamo Dome in Texas, which always has its own cultural dynamic. So I expect to hear a lot of love for Santa Cruz in that joint. Please leave your comments in the comments. Like the video, subscribe to the channel if you appreciate the fight talk. I'm Woog. Thanks for tuning in.